So we're just by the Thames at the Oxo Tower in London. We've just finished our F the Formula event. This isn't the only event we've got. We also had New York a couple of weeks ago now. A bit more about that later. It's a really important event. It's all about ripping up the rule book, and you should hopefully get some great insights from attending. But for those of you that can't make it, we thought we'll speak to a couple of the speakers here. We'll get a little bit of information about why ripping up the rule book is important. But you must come to the next event. Just a quick one to say that 98.3% of you are not subscribed. So if you enjoy what we do here at Journey Further, you enjoy the vlog and you want to see more, then it would help us out a great deal if you could subscribe.
It was fantastic, really good turnout, amazing brands to be part of the panel with. I think as a challenger brand, which Vinterior is, you have to throw away the rule book, and as I mentioned in the talk, there isn't a blueprint for a lot of what we're doing, and I think if you want to stand out as a brand, you have to make that blueprint for yourself. One of the examples in the talk was that we work with a meme page called Real Housewives of Clapton. They are our target audience in a nutshell. We work with them to create some content, essentially taking the piss out of Vinterior's audience. We couldn't do it on our own page, but we could do it with them, to their audience. The engagement was huge. The brand kind of awareness from that was significant, and it's just a really good example of knowing who our brand is and who our customers are and what they're following.
So if there's one thing I'd like people to do differently after today, it would be to take ideas from behavioural science and apply them to their marketing. There's thousands of experiments out there that academics have run that are completely free for you to use. So all you have to do is be very clear about what your problem is, what the barrier is, and then match that to the relevant experiment. And if you do, any solution you come up with will be based on a sound psychological insight. It's much more likely to be effective.
Thank you very much, Connor. Tell you what, that London event looked amazing, and I can tell you from personal experience that our New York one was just as inspiring. Oh my God, fantastic. I had the absolute pleasure of heading on over there a little earlier this year to meet, discuss, podcast with some incredible brands. The whole morning was jam-packed full of insight, more insight than you could ever imagine, and here is a little sneak peek at what you missed.
There's really two things that branding is. It's repetition and it's focus.
Best analogy I have is people now want songs and not the album.
The thing with luxury brands, which it drives me crazy, we don't have taglines, we don't have slogans, we don't have words. So what does that mean? That means from the very beginning, again, those brand pillars are so important.
KPIs should always be used after the fact and shouldn't stop good work.
Well, I think emotion comes from value. So I don't think anyone really emotionally cares about sneakers or toothpaste. It doesn't start with the brand. It doesn't start with the agency. It starts with who is Sally? What does she care about when she wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning? And how do we fit it?
We have it, loads of amazing content from the London and New York events are going to be hitting the socials over the next coming weeks, so make sure you follow so you don't miss it. Slight plug as well for my brilliant conversation that I had with Stacey Henderson on our podcast. We filmed that over in New York and it was fantastic, so go check that out. It's live on YouTube right now alongside any of your audio platforms. And crucially, make sure you're following the channels so that you are first in the know when we drop our next unmissable events, because you're going to want to get your names down.